would say B+. I mean, she obviously didn't have a good shooting night, 0 for 7 from 3, but she made up for it with the assists, set a rookie record for WNBA All-Star assists, had the most assists in the game, even with all of these highly decorated players. And you have to look beyond what actually happened on the court. I mean, she is, again, responsible, and not solely, other players are too. But Caitlin is the mover. She is the most responsible for the rise in interest in the WNBA and the rise in interest in this All-Star game. So you have to look at everything she contributed here. And I just don't think there's a question that she had such an effect. I want to read you a couple numbers here. Last year, the top 11 players in All-Star fan voting collectively reached 702,000 votes. So that's 11 players collectively getting that many votes. Caitlin Clark this year received 700,000 votes just on her own. I mean,
1 versus 11,
bananas.
right? Yeah.
And you look at how many more people were voting, right? The attendance, they only had 10,000 people at the All-Star game last year. They had nearly double that. And the reason they didn't have quite double is the arena they were playing in only seats 18,000. It couldn't seat more, but they sold it out. So I think for all around, the fact that she was a rookie, that to me, a lot of the shooting was tiredness. I think she's had a long run here. It's not an excuse. I'm just saying that to me is what I saw. And she's not an A, but I give her a B+ there.
Well, Skip.
Well, Paul.
She would have loved to be in my class if I was her teacher, like Keyshawn might say. I gave her an A+.
What?
I gave her an A+. Let me tell you what.
7?
Over 7, over 15. Look it, she's a rookie playing on the biggest stage this All-Star game. They're probably going to break records as far as views. Attendance you already talked about. She's a rookie. 10 assists. Kelsey Plum was guarding her like it was Game 7. It's the All-Star game, Skip.
It's going to happen.
She picked her up full court in the All-Star game. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
I mean, look it. And on top of all that, they beat Team USA.
Yeah.
They beat Team... Did anybody expect that? No, let's not say they beat them. I mean, they handedly beat them.
They did.
They were up 20 points. And guess what? No, she didn't play the violin or the trumpet, but you know what else? You know what she did? She orchestrated everything.
Yeah.
She directed it all.
Yeah.
I give her an A, and what a symphony that was. She put on a masterpiece. I give her an A, Skip. Listen, rookies, it's a lot of people I give an A's in this game also. Yeah. I mean, of course, Arike, the MVP.
Yes.
Of course, Angel Reese doubled. I mean, so many people just played well for me. I mean, Stewie looked amazing.
I was going to say.
Asia. This was a game for the ages. I would have to think. I haven't seen any other All-Star games, but just watching this, there couldn't have been a better All-Star game than this one. The USA team, the stars of stars. And this goes to what I've been saying for weeks. Some of those girls that was on the All-Star game, on the All-Star team, should be on the U.S. team. Now, I'm not saying who they should take off.
I was going to say, there's only so many spots.
I don't know who they take off, but it seems like some of those positions are kind of repetitive. When you look down the line, Asia, Stewie, the other girl, the tall.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. Oh, I can't think of her name.
That's all right.
But it's Brittany Griner.
Yeah,
that's right.
Brittany. Oh, yeah.
A lot of those positions are repetitive.
Yeah.
And so, but all deserving. All the girls on that UST team is all deserving. But it just goes to show you how good the girls' game is getting. I can't wait till the Olympics to start. But as far as Caitlin Clark, for all those reasons I said, A+.
Okay. I'm going to start off with Angel Reese because I'm going to give her an A+.
Yeah, she got an A+ for me, too.
She was extraordinary because she didn't play high minutes, and she wound up with 12 points and 11 rebounds. And I got to say it. I know it's only like 2/3 of a year so far. I'm pretty sure she's the best offensive rebounder I've ever seen, men's or women's, because of her nose for the basketball and the way she maneuvers.
More than Rodman?
More than Rodman. Offense, like Rodman's total.
Okay.
But Rodman wasn't just offense, and she's half offense. Like her rebounds are almost 50-50 offensive rebounds. She goes out 50%. There among those very tall women you just detailed, and she got 11 rebounds with 5 of them offensive. And every time she would get one, I'd say, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Because it's nose for ball. It's playing the carom. You have to have, there's some sort of weird genius to it, where you have to just be able to anticipate the bounce, the carom, where's it going to go? And she's always in the right place at the right time. And then, you know what I think of fourth quarters, she goes 3 out of 4 shots in the fourth quarter and had 3 more rebounds and led the charge. I thought she was kind of the lightning rod in the fourth quarter to hold off Team USA. And to your point, Paul, it became, Team USA outscored them 30-29, but when you can get 29 on them in a quarter, it worked, and it held them off. Okay, back to Caitlin. This is so shocking to me that I'm still having a hard time wrapping my arm around it and my head around it. And Paul and I have discussed briefly this last week, but Caitlin Clark is the opposite of what I thought she was.
Yeah.
Seriously. I thought she was the Steph Curry of women's basketball because that's mostly what she was at Iowa.
I mean, she broke all the records.
She broke all the scoring records. And there have been bursts of that this year so far, but she's turned more and more to, like you said, John Stockton, you know, like she's just...
She just morphed her game into...
She did.
Like Harden yesterday of Harden today. You know how Harden was like that scorer, and now he's more of an assist guy?
Okay.
That's what she's done.
Okay. So she is in a terrible three-point shooting slump, and we'll get more into this a little bit later in the show. But I'm looking at her last 7 regular season games, and she was 17-65, which is 26%. And if I throw on the 0 for 7 in this game, that would drop her to 24% over 8 games. So maybe she just wore out because, as you well know, if your legs go, your three-point shot just goes because you can't get your legs up underneath it. And also, as you well know, if you get a demon down in your psyche about it just won't go in for whatever reason, you're just like a touch. You're 2 inches off to the right or the left. All of a sudden, you're in a slump. I don't know what your worst slump was.
No, but you know what it is, Skip, too. I can tell you this. And I know they don't play in the same pro arenas, but college arenas are different from pro arenas.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking about the lighting.
Let's say the lighting
I mean, the lighting is
like the way you see the basket is different.
In the NBA or WNBA from where you play in college. It's a thing. It's like you can be on your floor and you can shoot however many percentage or high percentage in college. Then first time I remember stepping on the NBA floor, we went to the Chicago United Center when I was in college, and I was just like, whoa, is the court longer? Is the rim higher?
Were you in that early season thing at the United States? They had it every year. It's like the tip-off.
Yes, so I played in that, and that was my first experience playing in the NBA arena, and it just seemed like everything was bigger. It was more fans. The court seemed bigger, and I know it's the same court. Three-point line has moved back, but we still shoot from college 3, but that seemed farther. The rim seemed a little bit higher. And so she'll make the adjustment. She's a great shooter. So it'll take time. She'll make the adjustment. Not everybody comes in and just, even though they're known for I even beat Steph Curry in the three-point contest his rookie year.
You brought that up several times.
His rookie year, because he was still getting adjusted to the NBA courts. Now, I will never beat him ever again in my life, so I cherish that.
You don't know that.
I cherish that.
Okay, so I had never even thought about assists in an all-star game because I just didn't care, because it's such a mad scramble and everybody's jacking up threes that it seemed like there aren't that many great passes because you don't need to make great passes because you're mostly just feeding people on the perimeter and they're going to catch it and shoot it, right? Or maybe dribble it a couple of times and jack it up. And I thought off the top of my head this morning, well, what's the all-star NBA record for assists in a game? And I had to look it up because I never thought about it, but Magic, once upon a time in 1984, had 22 in a game that they lost at Denver because Isaiah Thomas was the MVP of the game, and he had 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 15 assists.
Oh, wow.
So Magic had 22 to 15 for Isaiah. So it's like, I didn't even know that because I didn't care.
But NBA All-Star scoring has long been way inflated and a joke, whereas, as you guys both said, this was a highly competitive game.
Man.
Like Cheryl Reese said after the game, she said, it's one of the greatest spectacles in the history of our league, this game. That's saying something coming from her. And the competition between these two teams, It's not a surprise because, first of all, this happened before the last Olympics, was the WNBA team beat the Team USA team. But the Team USA team then went on for an easy gold. This game, this is the toughest competition that the women's team will play the entire summer. So, yes, this was a super competitive game, but it doesn't, to me, feel like a harbinger of, oh, Team USA is in trouble or anything like that. As for Caitlin, the tiredness, again, I'm going to say it, I think it is a big deal. She has brought up the fact that she has played basically a year straight of basketball. And if you look at when the college season ended, when the WNBA draft was, and when she had to start playing, I mean, it's all happens within like a month, 5-week span.
I can understand that.
So she now has the month off. I think that not making this Olympic team, as controversial as it was, may actually be the best thing for her rookie year. And I'm very interested to see her shooting numbers when she comes back.
It will be interesting. But to Paul's point, she didn't see that many Kelsey Plums in college basketball. And Kelsey was taking this very seriously.
It felt like a game 7 the way she was playing.
And Kelsey's been in the weight room because she brings it,
you know, it's just like, I was so jealous watching this, Skip, and I was just like, I wish the NBA All-Star.
I know. It was really fun to watch.
This was really fun to watch.
Right.
I mean, and Arike, oh my gosh, I think she can get a bucket in the NBA.
Well, she got them all.
I think she can get a bucket.
But
I think she can get a bucket in the league. Seriously.
And she's not the only one.
You know, being an All-Star game, I mean, but hey, this is competitive.
You don't think that our Team USA didn't want to put it on her because they're all the ones who said, well, what about us? Are we chopped liver? And I kept saying, well, your ratings have been kind of chopped liver. You're not, but your ratings have been until she walked in the door, right?
And by the way, again, you talk about that contribution to this game in particular. The number of eyeballs on this game was so important because it wasn't just the Caitlin Clark show. It showed off so many great players in the W. And I imagine that people who tuned in maybe just even for this All-Star game, because they're like, okay, an All-Star game I'll watch, suddenly may have fallen in love with not just Caitlin, but many of these players.
But it was just exciting. It was just an exciting game. Like, I know at one point that the USA team got down 20, but just to watch the show from some of these women, in particular Arike, I mean, I was over here like, whoa. Like, every time down, the threes, the fadeaways, it was just like, whoa. I mean, Reese, Caitlin, Asia, Brianna hit him with the Euro on the break. And I was like,
she was a monster in this
Brianna
game.
Stewart, Donna Taurasi came in, made her threes out the jump. I just enjoyed this game. And the game definitely grew even more after that. All-Star.
So for me, if I'm grading the old Caitlin that I thought was going to be Steph Curry, I got to give her like a D for the game.
Man,
but if I'm embracing the new Caitlin who had 15 assists the other night, then I say,
what about this?
Well, I got to give her a B, maybe.
So the orchestrator don't get no credit for a good symphony.
But what is there to orchestrate in an All-Star game? Because she made a couple of nice passes, but they're not required. You know,
it is required.